He's the founder of the original Thunderbolts team. Let's jump into the video and find out who is Baron Zemo. Helmut Zemo's life was heavily influenced by his father Heinrich Zemo, who was a scientist who served under Hitler's regime. He came up with numerous inventions, most notably his laser weapon, which became known as the Death Ray, and an almost indestructible adhesive he called Adhesive X. During an attack by Nick Fury and his Howling Commandos, Heinrich blew up the facility containing his inventions rather than let them fall into the hands of the enemy. The explosion caused massive damage to the town, causing the people to turn on him. Now hunted by the Allied forces and hated by his own people, he began wearing a mask to conceal his identity. Then during a battle with Captain America, a container of Adhesive X was shattered on him, permanently gluing his mask to his head. This would cause Heinrich to begin going slowly mad and become abusive to his family. His wife Hilda became tired of the abuse, and after hearing that her husband was building an evil weapon for Hitler, she faked her own death to warn others of the danger. Hilda would end up dying while trying to help Captain America stop her husband. Years later, Heinrich Zemo would seemingly be successful in killing Captain America and his partner Bucky Barnes. Then as Germany began to fall to the Allied forces, he went into hiding in the Amazon. He eventually summoned his son Helmut to join him in the Amazon. Helmut would witness the power his father commanded over the locals, and he was fascinated by it. Eventually, the news would emerge that Captain America had survived and was now part of the Avengers. So Baron Zemo recruited his own team of supervillains he called the Masters of Evil to take down the Avengers. In one of the clashes between the two groups, Heinrich Zemo was killed in a rock slide. Helmut would learn of his father's death and hold Captain America responsible for the destruction of his entire family. His mom had died helping Captain America, and his father had died fighting against him. He devoted himself to getting revenge on Captain America. He began training in combat and worked on replicating his father's inventions. Then, when he felt he was ready, he faced off with Captain America and his new partner, the Falcon. Dressed in a costume and calling himself the Phoenix, he battled the duo but was knocked into a tub of boiling Adhesive X and was presumed to be dead. Helmut survived in thanks to his insulated suit which protected him, but he wasn't wearing his mask and his face was gruesomely scarred. He then adopted a costume very similar to what his father had worn and assumed his rightful place as the 13th Baron Zemo. Baron Zemo is a gifted scientist and engineer, as well as an expert swordsman and competent marksman. He has the innate ability to manipulate others into doing his bidding. He's a brilliant strategist and is extremely charismatic. Zemo would continue to seek revenge against Captain America, and after numerous failed attempts, he would recruit his own version of the Masters of Evil. The group would gradually fall apart as Zemo continued his conquest of world domination and getting revenge on Captain America. As Zemo decided to reassemble his Masters of Evil, the perfect opportunity presented itself for him to achieve his goal of ruling the world. Onslaught had attacked and apparently killed the Avengers as well as many of Earth's other heroes. So Zemo and the members of his new version of the Masters of Evil hid their true identities and began masquerading as a new hero team called the Thunderbolts. The group quickly gained popularity and trust in a world lacking heroes. Zemo used the trust to gain access to information and equipment which would allow him to take over the world. Meanwhile, many of the team's members had actually begun enjoying their roles as heroes. But the true heroes soon began to reappear, so Zemo used the technology he had gained access to place most of the planet under his control. He had also noticed that his team had come to admire being heroes and wouldn't want to give it up, so he exposed their true identities, leaving them no choice but to go along with him. The plan failed when the majority of the Thunderbolts turned against him for ruining their chance to be heroes. Zemo would escape and continue to adventure in the Marvel Universe. Well, that's the origin of Baron Helmut Zemo, and that'll do it for today's video. As always, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to stop by the channel and check out this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you again real soon. But until then, I'm out. Peace.